I felt very uncomfortable making any kind of jokes about Jewish people because in Germany we don't at all. But then my wife would always make these jokes.
Made it up to Otto von Bismarck and then we're like, oh.
We're like, what? And this next part is not going to be easy. For me, going to Israel was a big thing because
Shalom, you kinky fucks.
and seeing how the media is portraying people.
Better
right?
techno culture than Berlin.
No, you're 100% right. I've met a lot of Jewish people in America. They tend to be a little different than the ones in Israel.
Definitely.
I'm not ashamed to be German, you know, but whenever they asked me, I'm from Italy, you know. The one thing, if I can give any credit to Germany, it is
good evening.
Great
Citizens.
Down and out.
Never surrender.
He's done it.
Famous victory. You're going to come back.
Turn to glory.
One thing that I love about your content and how much you incorporate that married to a Jewish girl aspect and the humor of that juxtaposition, which so many people haven't seen.
When you're German dating a Jewish girl, there's some things you cannot do. So, you getting ready? Do you want to take a quick shower together?
No.
Nine!
You gotta go. Dude, Ubers are very expensive right now. I think you should maybe take a train.
Nine! No!
So my question to you is when was that an idea that was thought up, or was that something that kind of just worked and then you went, oh, this is something that we can really explore?
Yeah, it just worked. I think I made one time because I felt very uncomfortable making any kind of jokes about Jewish people.
Yeah.
Because in Germany we don't at all. But then my wife would always make these jokes. So I filmed a couple of videos with her, just like, German with an American wife or something. Then she made like I was mad at her and it's like, she was saying something like, oh, you give me a lot of Nazi energy or something like that. And I just put that in a video and then people really loved it. And then by being around a lot of my Jewish friends, by doing comedy in the US, I felt more comfortable with doing that. And it's not malicious. It's like, okay, we have cultural differences and there's obviously a lot of humor in the relationship between a German and a Jew.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just, talk about it because it's very relevant and it's real to our relationship. So, but it's nothing I planned on doing. It just sort of happened.
That relationship aspect, something that you thought about before doing the comedy, or something that obviously you married a Jew, so you definitely thought about it a bit. But
sure, yeah. No, I did not choose my wife because she would make great content.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
No, I definitely don't mean that.
Yeah, no, I thought of the aspect. I just didn't think my wife was going to be like she was going to be that involved. And there's a lot of humor too, because my wife, she doesn't look stereotypically Jewish. She looks like more German than me. So there's so many jokes with it, and and it's
In Germany, what has the feedback been like with you being basically the first person to openly bring that conversation to the forefront through comedy, which is one of the best ways to do it?
Yeah, I think in Germany people are a bit more uncomfortable with it because we do have, which is I think is good, we have a lot of education around the Holocaust, horrible things happen. So we were very tense about it. But I do think that comedy can help. I think when you don't talk about something because it's too uncomfortable, that's also not good. So I think people are getting like more and more comfortable. I think my comedy has helped with that also. I don't want to like put it on a pedestal or anything like that.
But I think it's definitely true. I mean, comedy, it does allow it to come to the forefront, and it is a conversation that now we're getting to generations past that needs to happen. When we travel, on a personal anecdotal level, I find that Germans are always the people that understand the most. Whereas
sure.
sometimes other nations surrounding, won't name them, tend to go, oh no, it was all them. And speak to our grandparents and they're like, not quite, buddy.
No, 100%. We have a lot of, my history class in Germany from grade 5. So grade 5 history gets introduced, right? We start talking about like ancient Egypt and like Greece and all that stuff, right? Then it gets a little bit to like French Revolution, and then grade 7, I remember, till the end of high school, it's all about like Second World War, post-World War, before how it happened.
My name is Adolf. I'm on the mic. I'm going to hip you to the story of the new Third Reich.
How it could happen, the Holocaust, all this stuff. So yeah, Germans have a large knowledge around it, and obviously Germans also, there is also trauma on the German side. So I think by joking about things and talking about it in a comedic way, it's also a way to cope with a dark subject like that, whether it's for Jewish people or Germans, right? I think that's...
So you guys made it up to Otto von Bismarck and then we're like, oh...
Exactly. And then we're like, what? And this next part is not going to be easy and we're going to spend a lot of time on it, but we got to do this, okay? So, yeah.
And now that you kind of have that brand, when you get comments, almost treated probably like you're a Jew, what does that do internally for you, and how much have you understood kind of what anti-Semitism looks like through the lens of comments?
Yeah, it was very sad to see that. For me, it's also like you cannot avoid, the one thing I've learned from doing social media, you cannot please people, and there's always going to be comments that are just gonna upset you, right? And I saw that, and it's really on both sides. Like whatever you talk about, you will always get like hate, right? Like I went to Israel, did some shows there.
Oh, Mario, look, it's your first siren. Like it's like, and I was like, Mazel Tov, like, great, this is amazing.
And then I got a lot of negative comments for that. People called me like a, what's it called, like a genocide enabler and all this stuff, right?
Some people say that you also took genocide, yeah? We did it first. Okay.
And then, but on the other side, I made a joke where I criticize Israel, make a joke about it, and then people say that I'm anti-Semitic. So it's like this crazy thing right now online that people will be very loud on the extremes, and I'm just trying to like, you know, like just share humor and empathy and not worry too much about it, you know. But for me, I'm getting some of that, and I'm getting some of that negative feedback, even though I'm not Jewish.
Yeah.
So it gave me a lot of insight on like, okay, I cannot imagine being Jewish. And for me, going to Israel was a big thing because seeing the people there and seeing how the media is portraying people, right? Where these are these evil people that are doing this, right? And then you meet the people and they're lovely people.
Better
right?
techno culture than Berlin, probably.
Better techno culture? Yes.
I'm just getting competitive with you.
No, you're 100% right. Like,
yeah.
And the people were like, it was sweet. And I think that's something we forget sometimes. We have these labels, right? Whether you're a Jew, you're a Muslim, you're German, whatever. But like, we forget that those are all people, right? These are all individuals that are trying to do their best. And I think we forget that sometimes with these like blanket statements and labels. So that makes me sad sometimes. Because, again, I don't get that as much because I'm not Jewish, but I have a lot of empathy for that. Especially going to Israel has taught me that. Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about that Israel experience, and what are some of the things that you were really opened up to with the Israeli culture that you didn't know before?
What I didn't know about Israeli culture,
yeah,
I didn't know how confrontational they would be. Like it was really crazy how it was fun because like I've met a lot of Jewish people in America, but they tend to be a little different than the ones in Israel.
Definitely.
Because in Israel they're very in your face. They would like, you know, sometimes even when people recognize me on the street, right? In Israel they were like, "Oh Mario, come here, let's take a photo," you know, and it was just super, but it was cool. It was like very direct. First day in Israel, I landed, and then our taxi driver from the airport to the hotel got into the fight with some other guy on the street, you know, and he was just literally get out of our car and was yelling at this guy in Hebrew. It was hummus, 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 and that was interesting. And yeah, just in general, I'd never been. I actually wanted to go in 2020. My roommate in Berlin is Israeli. And he wanted to take me in 2020, but then COVID happened, so we didn't make the trip. So he's always said great things, but also I think it's just a beautiful place, like the beaches. There was a guy who taught me how to surf. Just the empathy of people is beautiful. Like there was a guy who recognized me from doing some skits online, and then he's a surf instructor. He was like, "Hey, do you want to come do a free surf lesson with me?" And that was cool. Yeah.
Probably we're interacting with a lot of people, and a lot of them probably younger people who are the people who are being referred to as the genocide,
sure,
so on and so forth. But I mean, let's be honest, they're young guys just like us.
For sure. Yeah.
And how much did you see that reality in interacting with young IDF soldiers?
I didn't interact with I'm sure for sure I interact with soldiers because everybody went to the military,
that's what everyone
right?
Kind of is.
Yeah. Everybody kind of is. Yeah.
Any young guy who can walk straight is.
Yeah. Well, I try to not focus too much on the politics of it. I just wanted to connect with the people. Right.
Yeah, so
and I just wanted to bring humor to the people. So I didn't hear anything on that side. I mean, even the people there, they're also very much split on the whole issue, right? It was not like this homogenous thing in Israel. It's like everybody has their own opinion, as they should have, right? I think everybody should have their own opinions. And it's not as black or white as people may make it seem. So, I love talking to people. It's a little awkward because I went to Jerusalem, to the Western Wall, and all these, the Jewish guys, they would always ask me, "Where are you from? Where are you from?" And I'm not ashamed to be German, but whenever they asked me, I'm from Italy, you know? I was like, I want to avoid being German here, you know?
Didn't translate their anthem, right?
Exactly. That's good, you know, but yeah.
So let's go back to the Germany side of things. Growing up, obviously you had that intense education and that intense feeling towards history. How much have you felt that now's generation are still working to try to not reverting back to that hatred, which we are seeing spur up around the world, but ironically Berlin has been a place that hasn't been seen as much?
Yeah, I think we just have so much awareness around it in Germany, right? I think that's just the number one thing. I think we did not. The one thing, if I can give any credit to Germany, it is the way we dealt with it afterwards. Because I have a joke where I'm saying, yeah, we build statues everywhere for Holocaust victims. In America, you build statues for Confederate leaders, So that's like I think some people it's just easier to forget. I think in Spain, after that dictatorship, they passed a law to forget about all the crimes.
Yeah.
But in Germany, we were like, okay, let's be very open about this. Let's do all that. So I do think that, ironically now, I think for a lot of Jewish people, I think Germany is actually possibly a safer place than some other places, in terms of the openness. Because when you see, I do think we have the sensitivity around it. Like when you are being anti-Semitic in Germany, when you hear it, when somebody does it, which I've never actually witnessed in Germany, also I'm from a small town, so it's maybe different, then there's this sensitivity where we're like, oh, this feels wrong, right? Because we have this education around it, and it's deeply ingrained in us. Like we Germans truly do, we do have this ingrained guilt, and that's why it's weird for my German friends, for example. They, when we had our wedding, with a lot of the Jewish people came over, they have never interacted with Jewish people, and it was beautiful having them all come together and stuff like that.
It's amazing what whiskey can do.
What whiskey can do? Exactly, 100%. That all we're all on the same level, Yeah.
When doing your comedy, though, when you're doing, especially with the videos, and like I said, you're kind of that face of German with Jewish content.
Yeah.
Have you had over the past year any Holocaust survivors or children of Holocaust survivors or so on and so forth reach out to say thank you or tell their opinion on what you're doing?
Yeah, I think the most appreciation I got was, I get messages like that online and it's lovely, but truly going to Israel was the biggest one for me. Because I think people felt at that time, it was like about half a year ago, especially at that time, people felt the most alienated and like everybody hates them. So the fact that I was even willing to go there, I think meant a lot to the people. And just seeing that and seeing that gratitude was like that meant a lot to me. That's truly it's such a human thing, right?
Yeah.
You feel alone, you feel left out, you feel hated, and then we can all come together and laugh together, right?
It definitely does in Israel, because a lot of people do say that they're going to do a show over there, and then they get backlash and they pull
100%.
out. So when someone does pull through and actually come, it means a lot to really every Jew around the world.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much for what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing humor to what is a serious thing, so that we can all talk about it.
Of course, yeah.
Please continue doing the good shit and keeping us cracking up.
All right, sounds good, man. Let's do it. Thank you.